There they are. Those are the bears. I would be interested in knowing how many of you, when you went to the emergency room or somewhere, got a bear for your child. Any of you children have one of these bears? How many of you? Go ahead. How many of you children have one? Okay. How many of you adults have one? Ezra asked me today if it's okay for adults to have those. He said, don't you think it would make them feel better too? I said, well, sure, if that's what they want. Yeah, no problem. That's what they do. Someone had said in our series on A Christian is Like, someone said a Christian is like a teddy bear. Now, to be honest with you, every other time that I have done one of these, I had it written on there who turned it in. I have no memory of this one. They didn't write their name on it. I don't know who it was. So you can say, right now you can go, it was me. That's fine. Or, that's right, it was. It was Jennifer Boggs. There we go. Now I remember it. Yeah. Because you have a smile that looks like one of those teddy bears. So there you go. I should have remembered that. All right. Jennifer Boggs. Great idea, great concept. And given what Brian challenged us with this morning, it worked out well to make tonight's concept about the teddy bears. You know, have you thought about how much time we spend trying to be comfortable? You thought about that? We try to keep temperatures comfortable. We try to have shoes comfortable. We like to wear comfortable clothes. We spend quite a bit of time trying to be comfortable. That's just what we do. Number two, there are a whole lot of times when we need comfort. There is a television commercial that runs often, especially during playoff time. And it pictures different people who are in some kind of fantasy football league. And it shows their records, and they're all terrible records. And it shows all of them crying, and they're all upset because their teams that they put together have just died. Well, I relate to one of them. There's a girl sitting in a car. She's crying. Makeup is running down her face. And she's wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey. And her team name is Romo-licious. Now, those of you that don't know that Tony Romo is the quarterback of the Cowboys. Romo-licious. She's upset because he lost again. I'm a Romo fan. Been a Cowboy fan all my life. I need a big group hug tonight. I really do. Because we gave it away again. But for all of you other fans who did not make the playoffs, at least we did that. That's all I can say. So, comfort. I know what it's like. You know what it's like. One of my favorite verses is 2 Corinthians chapter 1, starting in verse 2. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who also comforts us in all of our tribulations, that we may be able also to comfort those who have any trouble with the comfort with which we ourselves have been comforted by God. That's one of my favorite texts. And you notice how many times he uses the word comfort in just those two words? Because we spend a lot of time looking for comfort. We epitomize that. How many of you have been to Shaker Village, done their tour, and seen and been through their demonstration of what their worship service would have been like? where they sat, what the building was like. And we complain if we go 5 minutes over in this comfortable, nice place. And they went on for hours and hours with no padding, no conditioned air of any sort, either too hot or too cold, in a rugged environment with very little light. I think we epitomize searching for comfort. Go back to the passage in Psalm 86, just read. Here's what I think. We don't know a lot about the Psalms of David as to why they were written. We don't know where most of them originated, what exactly brought it on. But those of us who know the life of David, we can probably surmise what might have been going on in his mind when he wrote a psalm. So whatever is in your mind about David, when he wrote this psalm and he closed it, here's what I read today. I read this in my head. Here's what I read. David was a man who needed a teddy bear. That's what I read. Because David said, speaking to God, turn to me. That phrase means, don't look over there. Look over here. I know other people are in trouble, he said, but Lord, turn to me. Number two, he said, have mercy on me. Mercy is take away the trouble. Maybe I deserve it, but take it away anyway. Don't make me have to go through it. Number three, give me your strength. Maybe he was wearing out. Maybe he was beaten down. Maybe he had just had enough. Maybe you can think of times that you've read about in David's life. And then look what he said in 17. Show me a sign. Have you ever been in difficulty and you just thought in your head, Lord, if you would just show me a sign that everything's going to be okay. In fact, I've heard so many times different people who are in very difficult situations, they will look for and they will see something and interpret it as a sign. Why? Because that's what they need. And here, that's what David needed. I think David qualifies as one of those guys in this moment who just needed a teddy bear because it's comfortable. I don't know what it is that comforts you. I don't know what it is that when you are just not doing well, that you can have and it just makes you feel better. Maybe it's some really comfortable, warm pajamas that you can just sit around and lounge in. Maybe it's some real fluffy boots that feel good on your feet. Maybe you enjoy the sound of rain on a metal roof, which thanks to Vetco, I get to do that now, and it puts me right to sleep. No problem. Maybe you're like Zoe. Whenever she seems a little fussy, she has this blanket. It has magical powers. We take that blanket and just hand it to her, and the first thing she does is kiss it and lay down on it. I understand why. Because her mother had one too. In fact, her mother had one that before she would go to bed, we had to put her blanket in the freezer before she could go to bed because she had to have this cold blanket in the bed with her. Weird, huh? That was comfortable, you know? And it lasted until it literally fell into pieces. See? I think David was like that. I don't know what it was that made him comfortable, but I know he was looking for it. As Brian has challenged us to respond to his call to make more teddy bears, I meant to ask, I don't see yet, Jonelle is here. 30 plus years, is that right? 30 plus years, our ladies have been making these teddy bears in Richmond. 30 plus years. I don't know of any other activity that we are currently doing that has remained almost unchanged for 30 plus years. I don't know what it is. So that says two things. It's valuable. And number two, if you want something to last, make sure women stay involved in it. Because we men, we're going to change it. We're going to move it. We're going to move. Women, just stay right down the course. Just keep it on going, you know. All right. So what he is saying, what Brian wants us to do, is to put comfort in children's lives. So for just a minute, think with me about how Christians are like a teddy bear, and how a teddy bear is comforting, so that you and I, through whatever agency we choose to use, and this is one of them, the teddy bears, we become the teddy bears of comfort. Sometimes the teddy bear becomes a care bear. It just says, we care. That's what it says. Jesus said in Matthew 10 and verse 42, any one of you who gives only a cup of water to one of these little ones in my name, he will by no means lose his reward. Sometimes it's just you care. And when that child holds that teddy bear, that child won't know who we are, may not understand anything about us, but because of that teddy bear, that child will say, somebody cares. Do you have the talent to be a care bear? Number two, do you have a talent to be an opportunity bear? As we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially those of the household of faith. Do you have the ability to take and seize an opportunity that comes your way? Are you one who's looking for opportunities? How many times have you prayed, Lord, give us an opportunity to serve? And how many times have you said, there's an opportunity that the Lord is telling me I need to do to serve? Okay. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe your opportunity is a ministry bear. A ministry bear is simply using who you are to do what you can do. That's ministry. When that ministry highlights the Lord, that's the ministry that we're talking about. As each one has received a gift from the Lord, minister it to one another. 1 Peter 4 verse 10. Sometimes the teddy bear comfort comes in the form of a person who just wants to minister with his or her talent in a way that is comforting and that leads to the Lord. Sometimes it's a fragrance bear. They do a lot of things to the bears with the bow that's on it and the paint and the little sticker that tells who we are. I don't think they've ever sprayed it with any kind of fragrance. But you know what? Each bear is a fragrance. Speaking of Jesus in Galatians chapter 5, verse 2, walk in love as Christ also gave himself an offering and a sacrifice, sweet smelling savor to God. And then in Philippians 4:18, when Paul was on his missionary journey and he wrote back to Philippi and he said, you sent Epaphroditus to me and you gave me things that were an offering and a sacrifice of a sweet smelling savor to God. Here's what he said. When we reach out and help, it has an odor. It has a fragrance. And each bear represents a fragrance to the Lord of our service to God, providing comfort. Sometimes it's just an offer bear, an offer. Galatians 6 and verse 2, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. It's an offer to say, I'll stand with you. I'll help you carry your burden. I'll help you hold on to it. You don't have to do this by yourself. In whatever way it happens, this teddy bear represents that idea that I'm willing to stand side by side with you and do that. Sometimes it comes in the form, we might see it as a religion bear. Meaning what James did in James 1 verse 27. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this. Visit the fatherless and the widows in their affliction and to keep yourself unspotted from the world. When we hand out that little bear, it's a testimony to the religion that we are living. That is, the lifestyle we choose to display because of whom we believe. It's a religion that we want people to see. And finally, it's a thoughtful bear. A thoughtful bear. In Jeremiah chapter 29 and verse 11, God says through the prophet to the people who were in captivity, I know what my thoughts are concerning you. Thoughts of good, thoughts of restoration. God said, I know what I'm thinking about you. I wonder what those people heard when the God of heaven said, I'm thinking of you. Or how about Luke 22? When Jesus looked at Peter and he said, Peter, I'm praying for you. So when your faith fails, that you'll repent and come back. I wonder what Peter heard when he heard Jesus, the Son of God, say, I'm thinking, Peter, about you. There's something special. Whenever someone is in trouble, and you simply say, I am thinking of you. That's powerful. That's powerful. You know why it's powerful? Because there is so much in this world that is clamoring for our attention and for time in our minds. There is so much out there that is saying, think about this, look right here, look right here. And when you say, I am making time for you in my thoughts, that's powerful. Because maybe you, like me, sometimes get more mentally tired than physically tired. So if you're taking time to think about somebody, it's thoughtful. It's comforting. I think when Christians do these things, they are big old teddy bears reaching out to give a hug to somebody in need. I think a Christian is like a teddy bear. And I think it's okay to think of the God of creation, the God of the universe, in the form that says he is just reaching out with big old arms, trying to engulf us and hug on us every day. I think that's okay. That's certainly a facet of God, and it is comforting. Thank you, Jennifer, for the reminder that Christians are like teddy bears. Tonight, maybe you need a hug from God, from these people. If you are in trouble, you are in need, and you want us all to know about it and help you, let us know. Maybe it's a private matter. Maybe you want to simply say, please, one-on-one, talk to me and help me. That's what we're here for. And certainly, to open up our arms and take you into the family if you're ready to obey the gospel and be immersed into Jesus Christ tonight while we stand and sing together.